If you can fix the not enoughness inside of you, you will simultaneously fix everything else as well. And it's actually not even hard, it's quite easy. Every thought is a blueprint that your mind and body is working to make real. So our job is, if our mind's job is to make our thoughts real, then surely our job is to think better thoughts.
Yeah, you said when somebody is not proud of you, or you grew up feeling like someone where you didn't have that one person, right?
Yeah.
What if somebody's watching now and they can't even think of that one person? What would you say to them?
Be that one person. One of the most amazing things you can do for yourself is to sit down and think, what would I love to hear? If I could be praised, what's the thing I've never heard, want to hear, long to hear my whole life? I'm magnetically lovable. I'm the most respected person in this company. My boss really likes me. And if you say it and say it and say, you see, your thoughts are an energy that go out from you and back to people that match your thinking. So when you go, oh, my boss hates me, oh, this person's going to ghost me, oh, this is going to fall apart, you're always going to make that happen. We're so busy upgrading our laptop and our iPad and our furniture, we've forgotten to upgrade this.
Ever since I wrote my goals down with the pen, my dreams and reality have both been blending in. I just hope that in the end, my debt don't extend me on my dividends if it did.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited today to talk to Marisa Peer, who's a celebrity therapist and the author of a book called I Am Enough. We met at Mind Valley here in Dubai, at my first time going to a Mind Valley convention, and I got to speak, so I'll be sharing that on social media as well. But before we get into the interview, which is packed with a lot of really amazing exercises to help you on your path, I want to tell you about the sponsor, Quantum Upgrade. I've been using Quantum Upgrade for years. There's basically a field of energy that just follows me around everywhere, and I get to fine tune the energy field that I want. This week, because I'm just on the go filming so many podcasts, there are two frequencies that I'm working with. The first one is called Agni, which is the inner fire in Ayurveda. This is a frequency that helps with your heart chakra, to power your heart chakra so that everybody around you, hopefully all my podcast guests, can feel the love emanating from my heart. At night, I switch to the inner peace frequency. I'm going to read what it says here on the website about that frequency. The inner peace frequency helps you manage stressful situations and teach you how to manage them better and easier in the future. So if some stressful situation comes up at work or at home, you can handle it with that ease. Now, while most people use this frequency during the day, some people, like me, use it at night so that you can introduce more ease, calm, and rest during your sleep and your recovery. So if you're curious about what this feels like and what these frequencies even are, head over to quantumupgrade.io. And if you use the code FRANKLY, you'll get 15 days of a free trial. So you have a book called I Am Enough.
Yeah.
I did a TED Talk in the Philippines about a month ago. And one part of it, I had the entire audience say, I am enough. And you could tell they really resonated with saying that, for hearing themselves say that. And I guess I'm curious why you chose that as the title of your book.
You know, I've been a therapist my entire adult life, and I was very fascinated, still am, by human behavior. And I noticed that almost all my clients, or certainly 80% of them, came in, and we have something called the presenter, but here's my problem, but it's not really the problem. The problem you offer is not it. So the problem might be I'm an alcoholic, but the problem really is I don't feel good enough, so I use alcohol to numb the pain. I self-sabotage, but really I don't feel enough, and so if I self-sabotage, I never find out I'm not good enough. I procrastinate, but really I just don't feel good enough, so I delay everything. I can't stop binging on cake and I can't lose weight, but really I just don't feel enough. And so it's easier to say, well, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. But you see, I was always 50 pounds too heavy. I coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I was a drinker, you see. And it's less painful than the unspeakable truth is, which is I'm not enough. And when I find out, that's painful. But if I block it with it's the drinking, it's the smoking, it's the drugs, it's the shopping, it's the eating, it's the procrastinating. And so all my clients presenting problems, what lay underneath was the same thing over and over again. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not interesting enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not qualified enough. There are so many ways to feel not enough. I thought, well, isn't that amazing? If that's the common link, surely we should treat that. So I created the I'm Enough movement. I had the book, I had the movement, I have the bracelets that say it, and I began to get that into the world. If you can fix the not enoughness inside of you, you will simultaneously fix everything else as well. And it's actually not even hard. It's quite easy.
So it's sort of like a root cause issue.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't treat the root cause. They say, you know, I've got a fear of speaking in public. That's not true. The fear of public speaking is the fear of being rejected.
Yeah.
Because I can speak to my cat, my dog, I can pick up the phone to my friend, but I can't speak to a group.
Yeah.
I don't like confrontation. But that's a real fear of rejection. If you treat the fear of rejection, you'll change your entire life because it's humans' greatest fear.
It's interesting to hear you say this from a therapeutical perspective. I've had Dr. Daniel Aean on the show a few times too. He's a good friend. And he also approaches things, you know, psychologically.
Yeah.
I'm an energy healer. So I left being a journalist at Good Morning America for 12 years to basically go full in on energy healing and, you know, spreading this message. When I work with clients, we're doing the same thing where they'll come to me and they'll say it can be a physical ailment, restless leg syndrome. They can't see out of, or they have eye sensitivity if it's too bright, or sometimes not physical, but they want to write a book and they feel like an imposter. And I'll literally, when we get to the root cause of it, it's like you were abandoned when you were 11.
Of course.
And you were, you know, rejected by this partner when you were 22. There's always something else.
Yeah,
and they
always
never are
something
like,
else.
whoa, that is causing this 20
Yeah.
years later?
Of course. And, you know, I've been a therapist my entire adult life, and I found that all of my clients, and there are hundreds and thousands, because I see people online, I do group talks, group coaching, they'll have three things wrong with them. I'm not enough is the big one. Different, so I can't connect. And the last one is I want something very much, but I know it's not available to me. So I'm going to try to stop drinking, try to find love, but I know already I won't do it. And if you can just treat those three things, you'll treat everything. It's like an umbrella and it's all underneath it. Interesting, you said something else about coming in with eye problems or sinus problems or skin problems or gut problems. Because doctors will tell you that between 70% and even 90% of our illnesses are caused not by diseased organs, but by diseased thinking. And that's fantastic news because you can change a disease thought like that. A diseased organ requires medication, maybe even a transplant or surgery, but diseased thought, well, we can all change diseased thoughts. It's free, no drugs are required, no medication, no surgery. So we should see that as a good thing and not a bad thing.
Right.
We have a lot of disease thinking, and we've got to change it.
I want to get into some methods with you, and I wrote those down, but I love that you brought up what doctors will say, because, you know, for the TEDx talks, for example, I can't just say things without backing it up with a study. So I did do some studies on affirmations. And in 2015, there was a study in social, cognitive, and affective neuroscience that showed that the brain's reward system actually lights up the same as it would with sugar and drugs when we use positive affirmations.
Yeah.
And in 2009, another study showed that students who wrote down affirmations about their performance before an exam, their sympathetic nervous system balanced and they had less adrenaline-related stress response.
And we shouldn't be surprised because here's the thing, your words shape your reality. Don't like your reality, go back and have a look at how you speak. Oh, that's not going to work. Everything I touch falls apart. I'm just no good with people. I'm terrible with money. I can't speak to anybody. I always get ghosted. If you want to change your reality, go back and have a look at your thoughts. Because thoughts are things. Your thoughts create your feelings and your feelings create your actions. And we should always look at our thoughts first.
At this point, are you at a point where those thoughts don't come up anymore, or do they come up and you quickly reframe?
I mean, they do. Like this morning, and I got up and I should have been in London last night and our computer had crashed, our internet had crashed, and it's very easy to go, oh my God, this is hell. But I just go, well, I aim to say this is a challenge, situation. This will pass. So what's so good about doing positive thinking is that first it's what you do, but then it becomes who you are and it kind of clicks in itself and you get to say, well, this is just a thought. It's just a thought and it will go away. So if I was going, my life is hell, which I would know, my life is hell, my kid is making me insane, my partner's so difficult, my boss is a nightmare. If I think those thoughts, you know, I think a thought, but my mind is always trying to make those thoughts real. If I think of something sad, my eyes will fill up with tears. Think of something embarrassing, I might go bright red. Think of food, my stomach will rumble. Think of sex, I might become aroused. The placebo says, well, I think of a drug will affect me more than what's in the drug. So I know that we don't have thoughts, we actually have blueprints. Every thought is a blueprint that your mind and body is working to make real. So our job is, if our mind's job is to make our thoughts real, then surely our job is to think better thoughts. So I spent my life thinking better thoughts. And the lovely thing is, you start to do it and then it just takes over and does it itself. So I don't have to do it much now, occasionally, but not often.
Yeah, I resonate with that.
Yeah.
What happens when someone's emotional and safety needs are not met?
Our unmet needs. You know, it's interesting because that's what I talked about last week. The emptiness inside that drives addictions, addiction to food, alcohol, drugs, followers, shopping, all stem from the unmet needs of small children. And small children have very simple needs here. That I need to be loved, but I also need to be significant, connected. My parents might love me. If I'm in daycare, I need to be significant, connected to the people who care for me so they'll look after me. I also need to be safe to cry, safe to be difficult, safe to have it, and not be punished for it. So loved, connected, significant, safe, not a lot. And later, by the time we're 3, we have 3 more. Seen and heard, celebrated, and have just at least one person be proud of us. So they sound very simple. When I teach classes, I say, who didn't have those needs met? I'd say 90% put their hand up for some of them or all of them. So when these needs are not met, we can only do one of 2 things, because children, in order to make sense of a situation, control it. My dad's always shouting, I guess I'm a disappointment. My mom's always crying, I guess I don't make her happy. A child who must idolize their parent doesn't go, well, my dad's crazy, my mom's an alcoholic, my dad had me when I was 17 and he's still a child. They go, oh, this is all my fault. So a child will always take control of a situation to make sense of it. And they always blame themselves. So when these unmet needs are not met, the child doesn't go, well, I had a mother who was mentally ill, a father who was frustrated. And so they very quickly pick up a belief that these needs are not met and they're never going to be met. And they give up. They often have a quiet life. They might get some pets, live a simple life, very little expectation, never apply for promotion, often never even have a relationship, and just accept, this is it for me. One of my clients said to me once, love, he said, what is that? That is a foreign country I've never been to. You know what? I don't expect to ever go there. He just gave up on the idea that love would ever be available to him. Gave up on it completely. The other half give the need away. They go, I'm going to find someone. Frank, you'll do. I'm going to get together with you and I'm going to give you all my needs. You're going to make me feel loved, significant, and safe. I'm going to go through your phone and go, do you love me? Are you sure? And I'm going to give you the job. So we either give the need up completely or we give it away to someone else, usually a partner, but sometimes the boss, sometimes our children, sometimes a therapist. It's your job now to meet all these needs. And that can work. You can find someone who goes, hey, I'll do it. I'll tell you I love you and show you I love you, make you feel safe. But the thing is, they also have unmet needs. And then they get sick, or their children get sick, or they get fired, or something goes wrong. And so when our needs are not met, we give them up or we give them away. But the only way is to do it yourself. You see, as a child, it's your parents' job. Of course it is to meet your needs. When you get to, say, 28, well, it's your job now.
I think that there's something really interesting that you said earlier. I want to not forget. You said when somebody is not proud of you, or you grew up feeling like someone when you didn't have that one person, right? Yeah. That you've said before, I don't know if you said it today or it was just at Mind Valley that I'm remembering this. You said you can be that person. Yeah. Instead of searching for the therapist, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, you can be that person. So how does somebody even begin to do that?
You know, I was very lucky because I came from quite a dysfunctional childhood, but it didn't look dysfunctional on the outside, but it was. But I had a grandmother. And she lived hundreds of miles away from me, but she believed in me. And later she moved closer to me. And she was my real salvation. I often think I would have turned out very differently without her, but she believed in me. And she told me every day, and she showed me that she believed me. You only need one person. So when I became a therapist, I noticed that occasionally I'd have a really angry kid, even a suicidal kid, come in and go, no one loves me. I was working with somebody once, this 17-year-old, whose aunt who lived in another country, was so worried about him, she paid for his session. He came in and he goes, no, nobody loves me. I said, that's not completely true, because your aunt believes in you. She's paid for the session. And I believe in you. And in a couple of minutes, you're going to believe in you. So we've gone from 0 to 3 already. Got 3 people who believe in you greatly. And this kid who was predicted to end up in jail has become quite famous and really, really successful, because now he has self-beliefs. But often, as a therapist, I find that we are the one person. I've trained 20,000 therapists, I tell them all the time, you must remember you're going to be that one person who can say to a kid, I see something in you. I see something about you. And often it's a teacher. My father was an amazing teacher who probably was the salvation for many, many unhappy kids. And he would also say to me, imagine every child has a sign on their head saying, please make me feel important. That's that significant need. And so if we're aware that a child's life can be changed by having one person, you could be that one person. I was watching an interview recently. Gosh, he's such a famous guy. And we went to this magic shop. Do you know that story?
No.
He was a very, very unhappy kid. His life was, he went into a magic shop. The woman there saw something in him and she encouraged him to come in every day. And first she taught him magic, then she taught him self-esteem. And he's now incredibly famous. He was just doing a talk, I think with Stephen Bartlett. No, it was Mel Robbins. He was doing a talk with just a few weeks ago. And he talks about that one woman in the magic shop who saw something in him. And so if we know that, we think, well, could I be that one? Because I say to one kid, a niece, a nephew, a godchild, just a child, or an unhappy person, I see something in you. So we both need to find the person who believes in us. We also need to be the person. If we could all do that, the world would be such a different place.
I don't know why I just flashed back at you as you were saying that. So I was a journalist for 12 years, and I remember being an intern before I started officially working at ABC News. And I worked with Diane Sawyer on something. They assigned me to be like her intern or her production assistant or something. And I was still in college at the time. And she sent me an email like weeks later and said, you are so clearly on your way. And I just remember being like, oh my God, Diane Sawyer thinks I'm on my way, nice? Right? And it's like, I still to this day remember that one line.
Yeah.
What if somebody's watching now and they can't even think of that one person? What would you say to them?
Be that one person. One of the most amazing things you can do for yourself is to sit down and think, what would I love to hear? If I could be praised, what's the thing I've never heard, want to hear, long to hear my whole life? I never heard I was the favorite ever. Apart from my grandmother, I wanted to be my parents' favorite. I wasn't. I very clearly wasn't. I had an older brother who went to private school, a younger sister also went to private school. They were very bright. And I went to the local state school, completely different. I was the middle kid. That isn't always bad, but in my case it was. My brother was the firstborn son, private school. My sister was the little baby, very pretty at private school. And I've always felt like this blob in the middle. Thank God I had my grandmother. But later on, I began to say to myself, I'm the favorite kid. And I certainly wasn't, but I said it. And within 10 days, the weirdest thing happened. My father began to call me and say, you're my favorite. I'm so proud. My mother, too, began to say, you're the one. You keep all the family together. And I was really shocked at how quickly that can happen. So think of something you want to hear. I'm magnetically lovable. I'm the most respected person in this company. My boss really likes me. And if you say it and say, you see your thoughts are an energy that go out from you and back to you, people that match your thinking. So when you go, oh, my boss hates me, oh, this person's going to ghost me, oh, this is going to fall apart, you're always going to make that happen. So if you think of something you want to hear, and I'm absolutely lovable, I'm unforgettable, say it over and over and over again. And weirdly, you'll probably make it true. And it might startle you at how very fast that happens. I was working with a kid a little while ago who said she went to a new school in the midterm. She had no friends. And she said, when I followed these girls, they told me, you are dog. And they were really mean to her. And so when she went to have lunch, I go, no, all those seats are gone. You've got to sit on your own. And I said, darling, do not try to make these girls like you. You mustn't try. Imagine you've got a sign on your head, not saying, please like me, but I like me. I think I'm great. And I said, I want you to really say, I'm likable, I'm magnetically lovable. And so within 2 weeks, those girls said, you can come and sit with us. So she didn't change them. She had to change the energy of please like me becomes, hey, if you want to be my friend, you're lucky. But if you don't, I've got lots of friends. So just saying I'm magnetically likable. I have so many friends. People always want to talk to me. Wherever I go, I make friends. That's a great thing to say. Wherever I go, I make friends. Wherever I go, I find people. I used to have an advice column. People would write to me and go, hey, I'm so lonely. What do you do? What do you mean? Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting in my house crying. What are you doing? No, I'm not connected. But connection is a choice. I go, listen, go and off would walk someone's dog. Join a babysitting circle. Go to the local spa, even if you don't want to have anything done, and start to talk to people. If you're not choosing connection, you're choosing disconnection. But when you say, okay, I'm going to do that, but while saying, I find connection everywhere I go. I can talk to anyone at any level. People like me and I like them. You might as well tell your mind amazing things. Whatever you tell it will believe. It will let it in. Whether you tell your mind good stuff or bad stuff, hurtful stuff or helpful stuff, useful or useless. If you say, if I look at that cake, I'll get fat, the stress level in that thought makes cortisol, actually makes you gain weight. If you say, oh, I'm going to get sick now because I went out in the rain, or I ate that food and it wasn't cooked properly, or I was with a kid and they sneezed on me, your brain is going to work really hard to make that happen because that's its job. And if you say, yeah, that kid did sneeze, you know what? I've got an amazing immune system. I can eat a bit of uncooked chicken. My immune system is amazing. So you've got to always stop talking yourself into bad stuff and talk yourself out of it. Talk yourself out of bad stuff and into good stuff.
Man, it is so true. So true. I have so many things I want to say about everything you just said. I don't even know where to start. But it's interesting that you mentioned the broadcast that people are putting out.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that how other people will respond to you changing your broadcast. Because so in my energy work, because I don't know where it comes from, I'll say to the person, and I always say, don't tell me anything, but they could be in their 50s. And I'll say, oh, this comes from when you were broadcasting, I hate myself and this is my fault, and you were 18. And they'll say, oh, that was the year my parents got a divorce. I thought it was my fault. I tried to take my own life. Like they just know immediately. But now I'm thinking, I should also give them a positive, the opposite of that, to reaffirm. Even though I'm clearing that energy, they don't have to do anything.
You want to clear it and create a space. It's like feng shui. You clear all your shells and you put something nice there. So when you clear your mind of old stuff, at the same time you can wire in and fire in something good. It wasn't your fault, and you're an amazing person.
It's also interesting sometimes too that they could be really proud of you, but you're not aware of it.
Because they didn't tell you.
Like I remember one time, so during the pandemic, I went to go live with my parents for a year and just be close to them in the very beginning of it. And I remember I made tea for everybody in these like Good Morning America mugs. And my dad goes, wow, Good Morning America, that's a big show. Where did you get this? And I was like, I've been working there for 10 years. I won 4 Emmys. Like come on, you know? And he was like, and so I, in my head was like, wow, he really doesn't know that I worked at Good Morning America. He knew ABC News, but he didn't know Good Morning America specifically. But later in that year of living with him, all his friends would come up to me and be like, oh my God, your dad is so proud. All day he talks about everything you've done and shows us pictures of you on stories, you know? So he was proud.
But he didn't tell you.
And he didn't say it in a way that I would receive it.
Interesting. I said that seventh thing, to have one person be proud of you. For kids, knowing that someone's proud of you, that they root for you, that someone has your back. And with my daughter, I said, I'm so proud. She goes, why, Mummy, why are you proud of me? I said, well, you're amazing. You're funny. I remember when she didn't get into this school she wanted to go to, and she said, Mummy, do you love me less? I said, darling, I love you more because I can see the pain, and I love you more, not less. I love you so much more because I can see how sad you are, but school's not important. You'll find another great school. But the proud thing, and so often people say, oh, your mum was so proud. Really? She never told me your dad? I never knew. So, you know, Wayne Dyer said something, don't die with your music still playing inside you. So if you're a parent, tell your kid, it doesn't make them big-headed or arrogant. It doesn't ruin them. Praise makes you blossom. If your kid was a flower and you wanted them to grow, that the water you'd want would be the praise. So the fastest way to build anyone's self-esteem, including your own, is praise. I'm proud of you. I think you're amazing. The world's a better place because you're in it. I'm so glad I have you. The joy of my life is being your parent. It doesn't make you weak. It gives you kids with emotional resilience. I mean, the job of a parent, by the way, is to raise kids with high self-esteem. But who teaches them that? The job of a school is to have kids leave with high self-esteem, but they don't have any classes in high self-esteem. They're so busy making you do maths and geography and science. But we don't even know how to raise our self-esteem, and self-praise is the way to do it. There's nothing that will beat that. Nothing.
There was an exercise that you walked people through on stage where, oh God, it was so beautiful, where you close your eyes and you find that little inner child, but like, you know, you see yourself as that age, 9 years old or whatever, and you take them to where you live now or something you're proud of. For me, it was home. And I'm like, look, those are my Emmys. You won those. Those are for you. Like, look this is your, like, you have a throne in your living room and all these things that, you know, you're proud of that you want to show. Do you think we could walk people through that right now?
Sure. It's called upgrading the child. We're so busy upgrading our laptop and our iPad and our furniture. We've forgotten to upgrade this. You know, I might upgrade my home. I'm getting a new washing machine, a new couch. I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to get a new laptop. But forget about upgrading anything. This is the biggest upgrade. So we can do it right now.
That's beautiful.
So
let's do it.
you want to go into an alpha brainwave, by the way. So keep and the quickest way to get into alpha is to look up. When you look up like that, keep the eyes up and shut, and you go into alpha. And the brain is very programmable in alpha. So we'll all practice it first. Just roll up your eyes as if you're trying to look into your eyebrows. Keep them up and then close the lids. And if you feel that slight REM, it means you've gone into rapid eye movement. So now open your eyes. And the trick is, if you think you're going to do that, just put your hand on your chin so you realize it's just the eyes. Look up as high as you can. Keep your eyeballs up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keeping your eyeballs up. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Hold it. And this time, as you exhale, keep your eyeballs up. And at the same time, just close the eyelids down. Just drop your chin. So you have a kind of looking down sensation, that same looking down feeling that you might get when you look down a stairwell. Forget all about the position of your eyeballs now and just mentally see yourself going down 10 steps. You're taking step 10 and 9, going deeper into an awareness of yourself. You're taking step 7 and 6 and going even deeper. You're taking step 5, you're going deeper with every sound. You hear the sound of your heartbeat is taking you deeper. As you take step 4, the sound of your breathing is taking you deeper. As you take step 3, the sound of my voice is taking you deeper. As you take step 2, you're going deeper into an awareness of yourself. As you take step 1, each muscle, every nerve is turning loose, letting loose, and you are going deeper, deeper, deeper into an awareness of yourself. So as you go deeper, drift deeper, and sink deeper, I want you to imagine you're looking at a screen, and you're looking at you today like you're looking at a mirror, but you're looking at a screen that is a mirror, and here you are today, right now. And you're going to press rewind. So go ahead and press the button that says rewind as your life starts to rewind. And you begin to go backwards, 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 rather like you're in a time tunnel, pulling you back, taking you back until years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. You are drifting back, traveling back, moving further and further and further back. You're going back to your childhood home. You're rewinding right back to the time in your life, and you began to think you weren't enough. Your mind's already picked your home. If you had many, many homes, doesn't matter. Your mind is picking the relevant one. Any minute you're going to be standing outside that childhood home. As that rewind speeds up again, you're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You're rewinding, 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 and that movie is stopping. And you're standing right outside your childhood home. And you are irresistibly drawn to the front door. You're drawn straight through that front door, and suddenly you're standing outside the bedroom door, the room you slept in as a small child. And on the other side of that door is you as a little kid. And that kid knows that you are the grown-up version of them, just as you know that they are the young version of you, and you and this child have a complete, beautiful, total affinity with each other. So reach out your hand and touch that door handle that you know so well. Open the door, go in. And there is a little you, a very young version of you at an age where you began to think you weren't quite enough. And I want you to put your arms around that child, sit them on your knee, hold them in your arms, hold them by the hand. And I want you to ask them just one question. Well, actually 3 questions. Here's the first one. Are you happy? The answer is going to be yes, no, maybe. If the answer is no or maybe, I want to ask another question. What is it, or who is it, that makes you unhappy? And that's often another kid at school, a teacher, a parent. And here's the last question. What is it this person does or doesn't do that makes you feel unhappy? And I want you to imagine you can teleport that child back to the house you live in, the home you live in, the apartment you live in right now. Suddenly, you're traveling through time together and you're walking through the door of your own home. And as you walk through this door, holding that child in your arms or holding them by the hand, I want you to repeat these very words out loud, word for word. Let's do this. I want you to say out loud, I'm becoming a loving parent to you now.
I'm becoming a loving parent to you now.
No one can play the role of loving parent to you like I can.
No one can play the role of loving parent to you like I can.
I love you completely.
I love you completely.
I love you unconditionally.
I love you unconditionally.
I think you're amazing.
I think you're amazing.
I see so many amazing things in you.
I see so many amazing things in you.
I will always have time for you.
I'll always have time for you.
I'll always listen to you.
I'll always listen to you.
You and I have balance now.
You and I have balance now.
There's nothing we can't do.
There's nothing we can't do.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
I love you.
I love you.
I think you're amazing.
I think you're amazing.
I think you're smart.
I think you're smart
and gorgeous.
and gorgeous.
And the world's a better place.
And the world is a better place.
Just because you're in it.
Just because you're in it.
And I want you to imagine taking that child through the door and saying, I'm upgrading you into my world now.
I'm upgrading you into my world now.
And this is a nicer,
and this is a nicer,
safer, better place.
Better place.
And now I'm installing you into my world.
And now I'm installing you into my world.
You can never go back to that other world.
You can never go back to that other world.
Not even in your daydreams.
Not even in your daydreams.
I want you to imagine taking that child into your living room and showing them. You probably have Alexa or Hey Google, Sonos, Netflix. You probably have a lot of stuff that you didn't have. When you were a kid, we didn't have Netflix. Alexa wasn't there. Sonos wasn't there. Bluetooth wasn't there. You probably didn't have an Apple phone, an iPad, or laptop, because they didn't even exist. But you do have them now. So I want you to show this kid your phone with all of your contents and your TV, your sofa, your couch, all the things you have that you did not have when you were 3, because many of them didn't even exist. We didn't have ChatGPT, but we certainly have now. And you wouldn't go, I can't have love. It didn't exist when I was 2. I can't have wealth. I was born without it. Can't have love. I didn't have a dad. But you wouldn't go, but I also can't have an Apple Mac computer because that didn't exist. I can't have a Samsung phone. So I want you to look at all the things you went out and got just because you could. And then go into your bedroom, open your closet and look at all the stuff you got. And look at your lovely bed and imagine that every night you go to bed and every morning you wake up wrapped in the arms of someone that loves you. If you don't yet have that, you can have it really fast. Go into your bathroom and look at all the products on the shelves. Go into your kitchen and notice that you can have dinner for breakfast and you can do whatever you want because you're free now. You're absolutely free. So walk around your house, even look out of the window at your car. Look in your wallet at your credit card. And, I'm not 3 because I drive a car. I'm not 4 because I put money in a machine. I put my card in a machine. It gives me cash. I'm not a kid. You'll never be that child again. As you upgrade that child into your present, you can't go backwards. Life doesn't go back. So take a few minutes and think right now of the words you never heard. The words you never heard. The phrases you didn't get. And I want you to take a few minutes and say things like, you're a genius, or you're beautiful, or you're the favorite, you're the smartest, whatever it is you need to hear. Don't waste another second, do it right now and say, look at this, look at the awards you have. Look at the friends you have, look at the things you have got for yourself. You did this. So take a few more minutes and start pointing out all the stuff. Physical stuff, emotional stuff. And I want you to feel that little kid merging into you, just dropping down and taking up residence. I want you to say again some specific words. I want you to say out loud, I've created a place in my heart for you.
I created a place in my heart for you.
I've created a place in my body for you.
I created a place in my body for you.
I've created a place in my life for you.
I created a place in my life for you.
I've created a place in this home for you.
I created a place in this home for you.
And now you live in my world.
And now you live in my world.
You can never go back.
You can never go back.
Not even in your daydreams.
Not even in your daydreams.
You see, your childhood was a bow. And it might have been a horrible bow, a messy bow, a sad bow, but the bow has one job: propel the arrow forward. So your childhood was a bow, but you're an arrow. And when you fire an arrow, it never goes backwards. It goes forwards, it goes fast, it's sleek and fast, and it moves forwards. So imagine your childhood, as bad as it was, it's a bow. And that bow is giving you so much strength to fly free and fast and swift and straight. And when the arrow moves, people run to go, where did the arrow go? Nobody runs to see where did the bow go, because we only care about the arrow. And you're not a bow, you're an arrow. And you go as far away from that painful past as you want to, because you've just upgraded yourself into the present, and the past is gone. And you're always going to be an arrow, never a bow. So take a few more minutes and look at where you live. You don't live in the past. That's behind you. And you're never going there. Your past is like the water you took in the shower. And you can't run back tonight and get that shower water back any more than you could run after your Uber and try and get the exhaust fumes back. The past is out of your life. It's something you used to have, and it cannot, will not, does not, will not interest you ever again. It will never again be relevant or appropriate or necessary or even interesting to think like that kid, because that kid lives in you. And you're doing a stellar job of filling them up with the words they need to hear, the praise they need to hear. So I want you to do one more thing. Tell that kid why you believe in them. Praise them, believe in them, and tell them why. Take as long as you like. Do it right now. You don't have to wait another minute to hear the words. I love you. You're amazing. You're smart. You're special. You're beautiful. You're clever. You're gifted. You're funny. You're interesting. You're great company. You're worthy of my attention. You're compelling. You're destined to be something amazing, and you are a gift to the world. And after today, you can do this every day. Don't just do it once, just before you go to sleep, just after you wake up. Check in with that little kid and go, there you are, look at you. Maybe find a picture of you, you're trying to put it on your mirror, and go, there you are, there's that smart, beautiful kid destined for greatness. And I believe in you. And if you do that every day for 5 minutes, it will change your entire life. And you'll keep that change forever. So knowing it, feeling it, believing it, and committing to do it again, more than once. Do it again and again and again. The more you do it, the easier it is. The easier it is, the more you do it, the better you feel. But right now, knowing that kid is living in your heart, your body, your world, your life, and you're never going back. You're going forwards like an arrow. Just slowly, calmly, easily just come back into the room, feeling that sense of completion and connection and belonging, and knowing you're an arrow and you can never be a bow. Just open up your eyes.
Wow.
What did that feel like?
So beautiful. Completely different from the first one.
Yes.
So I went to a little slightly older age, like a teenage.
Yes.
Right? So every time someone does this, for anybody listening, it changes every time, right?
It changes every time.
You might go to a different version of yourself that you need to integrate back. Wow.
Yeah. I always thought I was the most hideous, ugly kid. I wouldn't even have my picture taken. When I finally saw pictures, I thought, actually, I was really cute. I don't know why I thought I was so hideous. In all my family pictures, I'm doing that. I never wanted to be seen. And somebody must have told me I looked really stupid in photos. But then I thought, but that wasn't even true. But it doesn't matter. It felt so true to me.
Yeah.
And now I've got some of my baby pictures and toddler pictures, and I have one on my mirror, and I look at this little girl I had really fat legs. So I had like triple knees, which is so odd that your past isn't, because now I've got the thinnest legs. Your past is not your future. And I was like a little dice. I was like a little square, solid thing. I must have had a big waist and these little fat, dumpy legs, and I was pushing this pram with such force. And I think, look at that little kid. She's so full of energy and joy. And then you think, but it's still in me. No one's born to, don't look at me. I haven't got any hair. I've got triple knees down here. Don't look at me. I got milk spots. Babies, when you look into their crib, they smile. They think they're worth it because in the womb, it's like being in the Holiday Inn. It's like being in the Four Seasons. You have 24-hour room service. It's always warm and someone is always there. So we're born with the belief all my needs are going to be met. And even though that got diminished, you can reactivate and regenerate and remanifest what you were born with, which is a tremendous sense of I'm here and I'm amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, when you said the part of putting that picture on your mirror in the meditation, I had the same thought you did, where I'm like, I used to think I was so weird looking, and now I'm like, he's kind of cute.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I think that I know what we can do. We can, this will be obviously in the podcast, but I'll separate it and upload it to YouTube as a separate video too, so that people can just go back and do it over and over as they need.
Again.
So what did you call that? Upgrading the inner child?
No, just upgrading the child.
Just upgrading the child.
We always want upgrades, but we've got to give ourselves an upgrade.
Yeah.
So I call it upgrading the child, because you're upgrading it. It doesn't matter if you came from a poor house. When I was a kid, I didn't have an ensuite bathroom, but I have one now. I didn't have a walk-in wardrobe, but I have one. I wouldn't think, I can't have that. I've got lots of stuff. I didn't have a TV in my bedroom. I've got Alexa in my bedroom. I've got a little dressing table I love. And I've got a lot of stuff that I didn't have. But we've got to keep upgrading ourselves until it feels normal.
I like that you bring the past to the present, and you kind of say like, okay, this is your starting point, right? We're not going back, like the bow and arrow analogy. Because it reminds me of like with GPS or navigation, right? You don't, your navigation is like, okay, I'm here and I want to go to the podcast studio. It doesn't say, well, where were you yesterday? Yeah. It's just like, where are you now and where do you want to go from here?
We better go backwards to where you were a year ago first. We're so busy going back, and we don't go back, we go forwards. The mind goes backwards. Into the mind, if you say, I love that song of lavender, reminds me of my grandmother. I love a papaya, reminds me of my mum. I love that song by Barrett, reminds me of my first boyfriend. So the mind will go back. Smells, tastes, sounds take us back. You can hear a song and think, I dated my first partner to that. I love that food. It reminds me of being at school. I love that smell. Reminds me of my holidays. Like we'll often say vanilla and coconut remind us of the beach. So the mind will go back. And funny enough, we have fetal memories. People say, I need the beach, I need the water. No one says, I need the ice and the cold and the snow. We have a fetal memory, and the mind does go back, but the body only goes forwards. And so we don't want to keep going back. Don't look back. You're not going there. Go forwards, and go forwards with strength. It doesn't matter where you came from. It matters where you're going.
What about, so we talked about affirmations like I am enough, I am beautiful, I am wonderful. What about not using words like my ex, my fear? Let's talk about that.
Well, my is an ownership word. If I say, do you like my bag? Or do you like my shoes? You might say, do you like my shirt? Or, hey, come to my house. Or this is my kid. Or this is my job. Or, even we go, well, that's my beach chair. Or someone sat in my chair. My is a very territorial ownership word. And it's great for, my strength, my confidence, my resilience, my gift. But never say my headache, my fat legs, my ex. My ex is ruining my life. He's not yours, darling. You haven't been with him for 6 years. Just call it the. Because people say, here's the wife, here's the boyfriend, here's the kid, here's the secretary. We don't really like that because the doesn't apply attachment. So never prefix anything with my headaches, my cancer, my stressed stomach, my irritable bowel, my tension headaches. You want to call them the. If you don't want to own it, never call it mine. There's so many little things that you can do that make life easy. And a lot of times we're trying to program our mind. We don't understand 3 very simple things. The mind only works in right now. Saying next year, I'll be a millionaire. Next year, I'll be in love. Next year, I'll have lost 20 pounds. The mind doesn't know what next year is. You have to go now, even right now, this minute, which may sound odd, but I'm falling in love now. I'm attracting tremendous wealth now. The broken leg is healing perfectly right now, because if you say the broken leg is healing in 6 months, one of the reasons depressed people can't imagine getting better is because the mind only works in now. If you say to a bullied kid, next year be in a new school, it doesn't make them feel better because the mind works in the present, which is why when you're in pain and you feel like you're never going to get out of it, well, depressed people say, I want to kill myself. I can't imagine the pain leaving because the mind is very poor at future pacing. So when you go, next year, I'm going to be a millionaire next year, you got to add now, right now, this minute to your intentions and manifestations. And then some other 2 things. It doesn't hear the word no. So say say, don't think about scratching your nose, is what you think of. Don't think of a black cat sitting on a purple blanket. We have to think of it.
Right.
Don't think of the Swiss Alps as being dyed pink. Well, we're all thinking of it. We've never seen it, but we can't help thinking of it. So the words don't, know, maybe, don't worry, don't think about it, that's not going to happen. The mind deletes those words until it says it is going to happen. And finally, the mind really responds to words that make a picture. If you said every day, never I'm getting better and better at what? You know, skiving off work, getting dumped. It's too ambiguous.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm happy, I'm not bad. You have to have very exciting words and layer them. So rather than I'm okay, me, it'll be I'm phenomenal, I'm amazing, I'm magnetically lovely, I'm powerfully employable, I'm wildly confident, I have a phenomenal memory. I have incredible, enviable sleep patterns. So
Now,
don't just use words.
Yeah.
Use words in front. So you could, instead of saying I'm okay, go I'm wildly successful. I have an extraordinary photographic memory. I have vast powers of focus and concentration. I'm the most reliable, dependable, respected, revered coach in the whole world. But you don't use words that don't make a picture. Because it just doesn't work. You have to turn on your mind with exciting words that make a picture. You know, the way you feel about everything, and it is everything, comes down to two things. The pictures you make in your head and the words you construct. And if that's true, and it is, then our job is to construct better words and pictures. So saying, oh, I'm dreading next week, or oh my God, this headache is killing me. I've got the worst cold in the world. I've got flu and I'm so exhausted. I haven't slept. I'm shattered. You have to change it. Well, I've got a tiny little niggly thing, but it's nothing. I need a bit of sleep and I'm going to sleep perfectly tonight. But we really learn to maximize the positive and minimize the negative. Say your minimum words for things you don't want to have. Like saying I'm chronically tired, stressed out of my mind becomes I'm a little bit tired, but I'm going to have a great sleep tonight. And I am mildly stressed, but I'm going to be fine tomorrow.
And I like that you're doing it in a military kind of commanding way.
Oh, military words, yes.
Right?
So important.
Why is that more important than softly?
Well, if you think of your brain cells like a classroom of children, if you don't run them, they'll go run amok. But if you go in and go, right, sit down, pick up your book, turn to page 10. Every kid will do that. We'll all say, you know, I didn't like this teacher, but I respected them because they knew how to run the class. So think of your mind and your cells like children. They respond to military, so I'm going to do this. So one of the things I do a lot is use words compelling, coding, commanding, conditioning, directing, instructing. So I could say, oh, I'm recovering from an illness. Or I could say I'm coding, compelling, conditioning my mind and my body to recover perfectly right now. I said this, I'm coding my body to be a wellness-making machine. It does wellness, only wellness, always wellness. So I could do the opposite. But when you have military-style words, the brain sits up and takes notice. I love the word compelling. And we're all coding all the time. We're all wanting to be
we're casting
coders.
spells every day.
Yeah, I mean, words are magic. That's why it's called spelling. So we want to use coding, compelling, conditioning, direction, and commanding. I command my body to get well. I command my brain to remember. I put my passport. I command myself to be the most amazing parent, the most phenomenal boss, the most amazing employee. The brain sits up and takes notice to words that really make a picture, but they're very dramatic and exciting. So if you say to someone, how are you? They go, I'm not bad, me. It's very different to saying, oh, I'm phenomenal. I'm on fire. I'm living my best life. Everything is just amazing.
And what if it's not true for someone? Like if they're watching this and they're like, I'm actually really overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
What would you tell them to say? How do they respond if I'm like, how are you?
Then you'd say, I've got a lot on. Lucky I have phenomenal coping skills. I have, you see, there's an answer for everything. I've got a lot on. I'm overwhelmed. You could go up, but I have phenomenal coping skills. And this too will pass. I sometimes feel overwhelmed. You know, I was supposed to go to London last night. I had so much on. You know, in the last 3 weeks, I've done so much. And I'm about to go to India and do something more. But now I have a choice. I can go, wow, I'm overwhelmed. Or gosh, you know, how lucky am I? I've got this great life. And in between all the traveling, I get lots of days to just do nothing, to chill. But I have phenomenal coping. I have military organizational skills. I'm really good at packing. I learn things. Like, I never unpack. I always have a beach bag and a city bag packed. I never unpack, chargers and wires and travel size stuff. And what's the point? Just leave it there. It makes life easy.
I do the same.
So a lot of it is learning, can I learn from this? Can I make this easy? But military style words and some great coping skills. You can cope with anything. And the thing that helps a lot for me is to say, my problem is someone else's fantasy dream come true. They would love to be going, why are you going to India? Then you're going to London. Yeah. Then you're going to Abu Dhabi and you're being paid, you're being flied first class. I'd like that problem. That to me would be a fantasy. And whatever your challenge is, someone in the world would go, I'd love that. Your kid keeps you up all night. Your husband leaves his pants on the floor. I'd love that. And that's my fantasy dream come true. And what were you given 10 years ago for this problem? We complain about the commute to work and the freeway and the boss, but someone else will go, I'd love a job and a boss and a car to have a commute in. So it helps to put it all in perspective. Everything in life is about reframing.
Yeah.
Therapy is all about reframe, but your whole life should be a reframe.
I had a friend invite me to a Katy Perry concert, and we went backstage and met her and talked to her. And she's like, sometimes I get overwhelmed, or whatever word she used, I can't remember now. And she said, and then I say to myself, this was your dream, bitch. Don't make it a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm sure you could say the same to Taylor Swift. You could say, oh my God. But often we trample on our dreams. We forget that only is it your dream, you're traveling on someone else. They want to be Katy Perry and you're moaning about it. They want to be, Taylor Swift, she doesn't moan. But if you look at someone you admire who's always complaining, oh, it's hell. It's hell. I remember years ago working with a very famous person. He said, I never leave the hotel. He said, I turn up to do my bit, but I have all my meals in the room because I just get mobbed. I can't even get out of the door. Taylor Swift talked about how she has to be taken to events hidden in a piece of equipment. But he didn't complain about it. He just said, that's my reality. But I wanted this life. I wanted it. I love that expression. Take whatever you want and then pay for it. Because if you want fame and success and wealth, you do have to pay for it, but it's worth paying for. It's like, imagine saying you want 11 kids. I have a friend who's got 11 children. But that's what she wanted. She doesn't really complain. She always wanted 11. She wanted 12, actually. She loves having, and she doesn't even have a husband.
Wow.
She's a single parent. But she loves it, and she never moans. Because, when you want something and you moan about it, it might get taken away from you.
Yeah.
Because you've got to be grateful. You've got to have an aptitude for gratitude. I'm so lucky to have this. Yeah, it's got some challenges, but I'm lucky.
I said something just this morning. You've said so many things that are so like, I know if they're coming to me, they must be coming for everybody watching who has examples coming up. Because I said something today. I'm like, I'm so grateful for being in Dubai. So many invitations and opportunities, but I am really excited to get back to my routine. I've been here for a month, but I also said, I miss my cats. I love being home with my cats, but I never say no to opportunities because I don't want those cats taken away from me, from the universe being like, well, you keep using that as an excuse to not go after your goals. So, so I just make sure that they're taken care of. They have everything they need, but I still go do what I need to do.
Yeah, I was in Kerala last month and I thought, I really should come back to Dubai. I miss my cats. When I came back, they're happy to see me, but I thought I didn't need to come back early for them. They got each other. They got a cat carer. They're perfectly happy.
Yeah.
But it's true, if you moan about it, you might get it removed. So always be grateful. Then one day you look back and think, wow, people who spend a lot of money about their kids, and think, well, my kid's got peanut butter on the fridge, and I think I'd love that now. My mother was a bit like that. She was always moaning about the mess. And when she was old and lonely, she would have loved to live in a mess with 3 kids and hamsters running around the carpet and cats and dogs. So you've got to be careful moaning because it isn't forever.
God, that's, I keep in my head being like, this is the last question. And then it reminds me of a first interview I did years ago on a YouTube channel. And it was with an author from Hay House named David G. And he said he was working with this client who said she was complaining about her husband in a session and all the things that he does. He leaves his shoes here. His toothbrush is always there. 6 months later, he had terminal cancer, was dying. And she said, what I would give right now to have his dirty toothbrush there and his shoes left on. He doesn't get out of bed, so he doesn't leave his shoes anywhere. He doesn't get up to brush his teeth because he has no energy, so he doesn't leave his toothbrush in the sink. And what I would do to have that.
Yeah, you got to be very careful about not being grateful. And, things pass. It's like people say, oh, my kid is in my bed. I got my kid. Look, in 15 years, your kid will be in someone else's bed. You'll have a new problem to worry about. Your little 4-year-old son is in your bed. In 15 years, who knows whose bed he'll be. It won't be yours. So for something you get, it's got to be what I call PPP. It's got to be permanent. It's got to be all-pervasive. It's got to be personal. That woman's husband wasn't thinking, let me upset her by leaving my underpants on. Let me upset her by leaving my toothbrush. My husband is very messy. But messy people don't see mess. My daughter's an artist, even more messy. But if you go look at the mess, they go, what mess? They actually don't see it. So you're stressing about the tea bags in the sink and all the stuff, I mean, my husband, when he upsets me, I close my eyes and imagine my life without him. And then I go back to, does it matter about the tea bags? Does it matter that he walks in and gets sandal over the floor? Does it matter that he doesn't know what a coat hanger is? He doesn't even shut his closet doors. I mean, luckily we have separate walk-in wardrobes. It's very helpful. That's why I'll never share a wardrobe with you. But we go on holiday a lot and stay in little small hotel rooms. And I always say, okay, that's your corner. Put all your stuff there. You don't have to hang it up, but that's your corner to make as much mess as you like. Then I just add stuff to it.
What do you think about separate bedrooms for couples, married couples?
I think that's a terrible idea.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been married, but I always thought that'd be a great idea.
It depends what you want. It depends what you want. I can see how for some people it's nice, but you're creating disconnection. And if you go to a pet shop, don't all the little mice and all the kids lie on top of each other. And babies love sleeping on you. And I think it's lovely to wake up and go to sleep in the arms of someone that loves you. There's nothing quite like that. It's like coming home from a trip to someone. When I came home once and my friend met me, she put the layer around my neck on the train station. That was such a nice thing. But to be wrapped up in the arms of someone that loves you, to go to sleep and wake, this is really nice. And probably with your cats. Do your cats sleep on your bed?
Yeah, they
my
do.
Cats, do they come
and on me sometimes, yeah.
I wake up and they're sleeping in the small of my back. And it's so nice. You think, oh gosh, they love me so much. They've come and slept, not just with them right on me.
Right.
And I love that. And I would never shut them out because that's how they show that. I mean, also cats, because they think you're dead, so they like to come and check. So they come and sleep on you and check on you. If you love sleeping with your cats, it's really nice to sleep with a partner.
Yeah, that is true.
It's nice to be wrapped up.
I mean, I do enjoy that for sure. Yeah. I just wondered if, like, when you're married, if it's, some couples, like there was that famous couple, Tim Burton and Helena.
They had separate homes.
They had separate homes, but they connected somehow. Divorced. But they did get a divorce, yeah.
If you have separate homes and separate rooms, you might end up having separate lives. Because the whole point of a marriage is to be connected. Lie on the sofa, cuddled up and watching TV, walk down the street holding hands, having someone that does for you. People say to me, oh, it's so hard being married. But I thought it was hard being single. I got the flu, I've got to get out of bed, go and get my own medicine. Now, of course, we can have it delivered, but I've got to make my own chicken soup.
Right.
But when you're not well, someone does for you. It's a lovely thing. So I could see why for some people it would work. I know people who've always had separate bedrooms, but I like being connected. Connection, when we're born, we're hardwired to just do two things. Find connection, avoid rejection. That's it. And we spend our entire life trying to find connection, avoid rejection. We live in a world now where there's more rejection. You go to the bank, there's no tellers. I got away taxi. There's nobody driving it.
Right, yeah.
I go to a store. I mean, I went into the Amazon. Have you been to the Amazon store?
Where everything's just
you feel like you're stealing everything.
Yeah, totally.
But there's no people.
Yeah.
So we're creating a life of disconnection. We can buy stuff online, do everything online.
Even dating is online. Everything's online now. Yeah.
I was at Munich airport, actually. It was the strangest. There was no staff at all. They just had some robots. It was very weird. I didn't actually like it. So in a world where we're getting more and more disconnection, lie in the arms of someone who loves you, because that's where you're going to get your connection. Or cuddle up with your kids or your babies or your pets. But the world is making us disconnected. And connection is a need. We are wired to need it. So, we're tribal people. We're supposed to belong. And there'll come a time, probably if you're a female, where you probably would be widowed, and you think, God, I miss those days of my husband snoring, taking all the covers, getting into bed with sand all over his feet, because it goes very quickly. But everyone's different. But I love connection. I love cuddling my daughter, my little granddaughter, my husband, my pets. I like it all.
Marisa, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything that you wish somebody would ask you?
How can you feel more enough?
And how can you feel more enough?
We have a website called I'm Enough. We have an Instagram feed called I'm Enough. If you go to marisapeer.com, you can find out how to be enough. We have chapters of the book, we have free audios, we have these bracelets, we have everything. So if you want to have a better life, remember something. I love the words that follow I am. Follow you, the words that go after I am, go after you your whole life. So whatever comes after I am, make sure it's good. Not I'm an idiot, I'm so lazy, I'm not smart, I am enough. You know, remember the thing we started with. So every day if you go, I am significant, I'm connected, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm seen and heard, I'm proud of myself, and I'm celebrated, and I'm enough. Just make some really good I am statements, particularly about those unmet needs. Its strength is its simplicity, its honesty, and its power.
Marisa, thank you so much. And to the viewers, if you're watching, you can see how fashionable Marisa is. No stranger to fashion, so you know the bracelets are beautiful. It's a constant reminder, if you need it, of just like looking down, oh yeah, I am enough. And then a reminder to do your affirmations. And I do encourage you to go back and do that meditation over and over as much as you need it. Right?
Yeah, it's one of the most, people tell me it's the most powerful thing that's ever happened to them.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw those 4,000 people in tears.
In tears. I was in tears. I said, I came out of it, I said, thank God I'm a pretty crier.
But it's nice, people have been writing me ever since saying, oh my God, that was so amazing. Someone said to me, I've had pain in my head for a month and it completely went away just when you did that. So that was lovely. And go to marisapeer.com. We have a lot of totally free audios, money blocks, love blocks, health blocks, success blocks, all free.
Really? Are they like free meditations?
Yeah, but they're all free. Take as many as you like. And if you want to train in RTT and do what I do, go to rtt.com. We've trained 20,000, there was 450 here in Dubai. Wow. Rapid
RTT.
Transformational therapy. You know, people say therapy shouldn't be rapid. I say it should be very rapid. It should be fast.
You're about commands. Now, compel. Yes.
Yeah, I love commanding the mind to go back and be smart or lovable or be well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we have something called command therapy, where you literally command the body to get well. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
This is part of RTT?
Yeah, part of the training is the command therapy.
And this is training for people to become practitioners.
Yeah. We've got 20,000 of them now, all over the world.
Wow.
It's a great, it's the best job ever.
Yeah. Are they doing it remotely too?
Oh, yeah. A lot of remote work. You know, people think that therapy should be face-to-face because therapy was invented in the 50s.
Right, exactly.
I was with a lot of unhappy teenagers, and the last thing they want is to come to your office and talk about what's wrong with it. But if you go on their screen in their bedroom, they like that. That's what they're used to.
And they're in their sanctuary. They're in their safe space.
And they're much better. So I like working with teenagers on a screen in their bedroom, just me and them, because they feel safe and they'll open up, and it's familiar to them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So many amazing resources from this one episode alone. So I know if they go to your website, there will be so much more.
Even more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marisa.
You're welcome. Thank you.